Hey beauty lovers and fellow entrepreneurs, I'm Yegi, the owner and founder of Yegi Beauty. Within 5 years of being my own boss, I was able to grow Yegi Beauty into a multi-million-dollar company. This podcast is where I share what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur in the beauty industry. Hello. Welcome back to the Yegi Project. In today's episode, I got to interview Attaliah, who is a business strategist, but specifically a social media strategist. So she's not managing social media accounts. Instead, she's talking to people, strategizing, and giving them the tools in order for them to run their social media and have a strategy. She's also blogging and having a nice mixture of balance between work and play. What I found most interesting was her email marketing strategy. She did tell us literally the breakdown of what she is doing that's working for her. And I'm excited for you guys to listen and hopefully get some assistance. I also spoke to her about, the struggle or that leap of faith of quitting her 6-figure job, which she was a travel nurse, and only focusing on doing her business, which is currently being a blogger and doing social media strategy for other people. Now, she did get the opportunity to work for a multi-million-dollar company doing social media, which I think is super exciting. And it's a good kind of like pat in the back that, hey, I'm doing something right. But she did have to do a lot of redirecting and replanning and regrouping everything for herself in order to land and be at the position she is in today. Now, we talk about, not giving up, not quitting, but instead redirecting if something is not working to fine tune your life basically to what you want it to be. And currently she's only working 3 to 4 days out of the week, and the rest of the time she still loves to travel and she focuses on that with her personal life, which brings me to the point is, again, my message of balancing life and play and working as hard as you want, but also having as much time for yourself as you want. Well, before we jump into the episode, let me give you guys a few updates about the Yegi Project. So I am taking a few very limited coaching sessions. So if you guys are interested in that, I am here for you. And what else is new is in partnership with Yegi Beauty, we do have 2 workshops available. One is specifically for lash artists or beauty professionals to be better at social media or just better display their work through photos and videos. So there's that workshop going on. And also the other one is advanced eyelash extension technique, the flower bouquet technique. So very specific. Again, that's just for the lash artists out there or beauty professionals out there who want to learn that. But those are live. So if you're interested, go check it out. We are working on creating a community of badass entrepreneurs so we can all work together and grow together. So if you guys have any ideas or if you want to be on the podcast, join us and stay tuned for all the updates, and we'll release all the cool projects we're working on slowly. One other thing that's new, and some of you may be wondering why I made this business decision, but I will walk you through it in case it does help you in your life and in your business. So we had stopped doing eyelash extension services for almost 2 years now. Since kind of COVID hit, I was going through, I just had a baby and I was pregnant and it was COVID and the salon closures and rules and laws and all of that craziness was becoming way too much for me to handle. So I decided that, hey, I'm going to slow down for a second. I'm going to close down that salon location because we had 2 separate locations for the warehouse and office, our headquarters side versus the physical salon where we took clients. So at that moment, I decided to close down the salon part so I could focus on my personal self, my family, my mental health with handling so much with having a tiny baby and being pregnant with another one with COVID and trying to run a business, it's a lot. So at that moment, I had decided to, just put that part on hold and really focus on the product sales and the academy where I teach and we teach as a team of how to do eyelash extensions nationwide. So this decision was really difficult back then because, again, I'm losing technically one part or one business, but I had to make that decision in order for me to be able to do well in the other two sides. You know, when you feel like something is too much, I learned that it is okay to either put a pause on it or redirect. And again, we talk about that in this episode as well. And this is one thing that I had done that was kind of risky. Now, 2 years later, I have decided that we're bringing services back. Now, I'm kind of settled into being a mom and an entrepreneur all in together. I have 2 babies, but we found the system that works where I can balance it. And now I found an opportunity to grow that part of the business again. Because again, I am a big believer of having different avenues of income coming in too, because, you know, it balances each other out. If one part of your money flow is not doing as good, the other part can help, and vice versa, right? So they say, I don't know, what's the rule? Like they say you want to have at least like 6 streams of income coming in, even if it's like tiny bit coming in, maybe from like ads or affiliate marketing, investments, I don't know, whatever. I think advised to have about 6. Going back to my story. So we have decided we're going to take services again. I'm going to try to grow the salon part of it to have that as almost a separate thing, but also related to entrepreneurship. So I think it's going to be very exciting to try to build clientele from scratch for a whole salon again, like I did, I don't know, back in 2015. So I'll share my experiences with you guys and let you know what I did, what I'm doing, what's working, what's not working. And hopefully that will help for some of you service providers out there to get ideas of what you can do to build your clientele, because I know that's always a hot topic. Attaliahs, I could talk about all this forever, so let's actually jump into the episode as I interview Attaliah.
Thank you for tuning in. Let me give the floor to Attaliah, and she is going to go ahead and introduce herself. Please let us know who you are and what you're all about.
Hi, Yegi. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. Thank you for the introduction. So I am Attaliah, and I help multi-passionate creators work from anywhere by creating multiple streams of income online.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more in detail. What do you do? What does your day-to-day look like?
So I am very multi-passionate, and I have multiple different ways that I make income online. Currently,
and that's what you help other people do as well, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I help other people do. So my day-to-day looks like doing things on social media, and the social media platforms that I personally use are Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. I do email marketing, usually daily, and then also I am currently planning a retreat for a client. So I also plan retreats, and other things that I do obviously is being around the house. I am living in Germany. I'm renovating a home. And
nice.
So just doing all the things.
You said you're renovating a home. Did you just get a home in Germany, or you guys are just doing renovations?
We actually inherited a home here in Germany, so it's my husband's childhood home, and we're
Congrats! How fun!
Yes, yeah. It's been a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet. Construction and renovations are not. They're fun to design, but not fun to go through the process.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Well, take us back a little bit. Tell us about you, your history and your careers and how you ended up here today.
Okay. So I started off, I went to nursing school, and my whole life plan was to be a nurse. And I was a NICU nurse, was the last career that I had. And I loved it. I went to deliveries all the time. It was so amazing. And then my husband and I were living in California, and he is originally from Germany, and he was just like, I'm not really liking America. And it was like one of those, like, hit you in the chest, like, okay, like, what do you mean you don't like it here? Like, my family was in Texas. I was like, we just bought a home a couple of years ago. Like, what are we going to do with everything that we've built here? Mm-hmm. And so then I had this thing of like, okay, you know what? This might be something that I can look into. So I kind of took it as like, okay, I'm going to look into other things that I enjoy. And mm-hmm. at the time, I really loved traveling, and my friends would always tell me, like, you should start a travel blog. Y'all are always going places, always doing stuff. And then I'd be like, what? Like, it's just normal for me, like who cares about what I'm doing, right? And it was at a point where I did not even post on Instagram much. Probably like 4 times a year was my posting on Instagram. So,
well, when you're living life and focusing on yourself and your, your life, you don't have to share on Instagram. You're just doing it just to have fun. It's not for an audience.
Yes, exactly. You're just like one picture here and there. And so long story short, then I ended up thinking like, okay, like let me pursue this. So this was in 2019. I was like, let me start this blog. I started researching on Pinterest and found people that were making really great money off of blogging. And I was like, great. And everyone would be like, affiliate links. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start a blog and then do affiliate links. Affiliate links is literally dollars on the pen. Like it's literally $1 for someone buying a $20 item. But anywho, I learned very quickly.
So tell us a little bit more about that experience or that shock of affiliate links. Because I do know a lot of people do wish or their goal is to be bloggers or influencers. What was your experience with the affiliate links in the beginning or now?
So now I understand affiliate links and I understand that it is something that is an addition to my income. It is not the primary. There are a lot of people who have that as one of their primaries, but if you take a look at the people who are doing that as their primary, there are people that have thousands of followers. So it's something that can grow with you. As far as starting off, when people say like you can blog and use affiliate, you have to have the audience that goes to your blog to get the affiliate payments. And so now that I am 2 years into it, I do randomly get $100 here and there, right? Mm-hmm. But at the beginning, it was like I got my first affiliate sale and it was like 26 cents. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Hey, 26 cents is better than 0 cents, right?
Right? But I was so happy. It was the best 26 cents ever because I was like, I made this 26 cents by myself. So.
That's great. Yeah. And it just adds up to it. It's almost like thinking of it as a little bit of commission for spreading the word about whatever affiliate link you're doing. And are you referring specifically to a specific like Amazon or specific brand affiliate link or just in general?
So in the beginning, I did a lot of like to know it affiliate links. Mm-hmm. So I did like to know it or Amazon. I've also done Shop a Sale. Now I encourage people to do affiliate links towards companies or towards courses or that kind of thing because you get a huger percentage and commission. Obviously, it's more work for like, I guess, advertising it, but you also get that payback really quick.
Yeah. It's always like that. You get what you work for.
Yes, for sure.
It's the same with us. Like with our company, we do have ambassadors, and then that's kind of what their affiliate links would be. So if they do use like their promo codes, they'll get commission for spreading that word, and then it goes on and off. So it's a little different, but again, it's a little similar to affiliate links.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so affiliate links, I think it's a great addition. I don't think, like, when you're starting off, it's something that you should be like, okay, like, my goal is to only make money off of affiliate links, because you're going to be waiting a long time.
Well, yeah, thank you for being real with that. That's true. That really is. Okay, awesome. So tell me, so now you decided to start looking into things. Your husband wanted to leave America and live in Germany, so you're like, okay, I gotta figure out what to do. You decided maybe the blogging would be an option. So what happened after that?
So I did blogging. So I launched my blog February 2020, and I actually launched it and posted. I literally just had a bio. So I'm going to tell all of your listeners, don't put so much pressure to be like, I need 5 blog posts, I need 10 blog posts. Like, no, I just literally had a bio, and I had 1,000 people come to my website to read my bio, and I was like, I'm in there. Like, this blog is going to make it. And so
literally writing blog on the website, informative blogs on your website. That's where you started about the travel.
Yes. So that's where I started about the travel, is like writing about my travel. I did, my first post was like about New Orleans and places to stay in New Orleans and that type of thing. And then in March, you know, obviously COVID hit. So my blog.
Then it was, interesting times for business.
Yes. Then it was like, okay, well, no one can travel. And so I kind of switched my perspective and I was like, okay, well, I can't travel, but I can take people back to where I've already been, and I can do that through Instagram. So I started
Honestly, I love that. You didn't let that be a roadblock where you're like, okay, well, I guess I can't do this. You found a way to redirect and be like, okay, well, this is what I have to work with. So let's work with what I got instead of pretty much closing the doors.
Yes, yeah, I definitely worked with what I got, and then I started learning about Instagram. And so I quickly found out that I was more passionate about learning about the algorithm and learning about what things worked and what things didn't. And so I had
it's
a friend.
It's really fun to learn.
Yes, right? I think experimenting is really fun.
Yes.
So I had a friend who owned a platform, and she was really needing help. And so I was like, oh, you know what? Like, let me do like social media type of thing for you for free, because I really wanted to learn how an account her size, she had 15,000 followers, and I wanted to know how account her size would react to the things that I was doing on account my size. And so then after then I did her account for free, and then a friend reached out to me that a company had emailed her looking for a social media manager, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. And so I applied for that company, and it was a nursing company, and they are a multi-million-dollar company.
And that's a great fit for you.
Yes. And so
wow, even the nursing companies are on social media now, huh?
Girl, everyone is on social media. Mm-hmm.
So what was your experience with that, running a social media for such a not such a common industry that, you know, people would go, like, if I need a nurse, I don't go on Instagram to look for a nurse, you know. Mm-hmm. I will search either Google, or I'll search my network, ask my friends. So what was your experience with running social media for a nursing company? And you said they were a multi-million-dollar company. How did that work?
Honestly, it was very mind-opening. And so what they did was they used their social media accounts to get nurses to go to their website and interact with their blogs. And then they had nursing schools that were paying them. And so that's how they were monetizing their blog.
Wow.
It was
that's
kind of
that's a very nice angle.
Right? And so in the end, they ended up not having an email list. And I was like, y'all don't have an email list. Like, you should start like doing email marketing. You could definitely like target that. That could be this. And so I ended up being somebody that would like come up with these ideas and kind of help them through like big things for like 2 years. And then I realized like, oh my gosh, like
I'm good at this.
Right? Oh my gosh, like not only have I helped them grow their business, like income wise, but I've helped them like grow their Instagram. They were starting to get on Pinterest and starting TikTok and starting to get ambassadors and email lists, and I ran giveaways and all types of things on their account. And so, so then from there, I was like, you know, I want to help small businesses do this. Like if somebody like this large needed this much assistance, not that it was a bad thing, but needed, you know, help to go like this, and I was able to help them. I want to help those who were where I started the 2 years before and didn't even know like that affiliate links aren't like, I mean, they're a small amount of money and you can't make thousands of dollars just by writing.
Okay, well, wonderful. Now tell us more, but fast forward to you decided to move, establish yourself in Germany. How do you manage your clients? How do you attain clients? What is your main way of making money now?
So my main way of making money now is I have one-on-one clients and I have retreat clients, and I also do community management, and I have a group program. And so the way that I kind of maintain my clients is I have week on, week off. And so my clients get 2 calls a month. And so 1 week I have mainly heavy clients, but I also don't take any more than 5 one-on-one clients a month. just because I really like time freedom. I love to travel.
So is that for the social media strategies? So to advise and work with people on their social media for a strategy, or to run their social media pages?
So I no longer run social media pages. I mainly just do strategizing and helping people do that on their own.
Okay.
And
Thank you for
empowering
clarifying
them.
that. Yes. Oh, I love that. Okay. All right, so go ahead and continue. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. And then as far as retreats, I take 3 retreats a year. And then my program is going to become evergreen. It's called The Profitable Creator. And I take on 10 students for that. And those are group calls. And so I really like to work about 3 to 4 days a week most of the times. And then I love, as I said, to travel. And most of the time, like this year, I've worked in 10 countries. So I just really like, going and being like, okay.
I love that.
Here.
This is your life. You want to shape it and work it to however you want to. You want to work as hard as you can and that you want with those 3 to 4 days a week, and then do whatever else you want for your personal self. And that's why I love having you actually on this podcast and that we're talking about this, because it should open people's minds to thinking outside of the box too. You can basically shape your life how you want to shape it, and also have that balance between personal and work. So we're very big on that here with Yegi Beauty and Yegi Project. So thank you for sharing that and being an example for our listeners.
Of course.
I like the sound of retreat. So tell us a little bit more about how does that work? Do we fly into that retreat? We all spend time together. So how does your retreats work?
Okay, so I plan the retreats for people who want to host retreats.
Got it. So somebody like me who would want to host a retreat, because again, my audience is entrepreneurs who want to grow and also have a balanced life and all of that. So if I were wanting to do that, you would help me set all that up and get the marketing and the word out about it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would help
Tell me more.
So I would help you obviously choose a place based on what your brand is. So for example, my last client, her brand was very beachy vibes. And so we went to Tulum. And so I planned the trip for about 15 nurses, actually, too. They're all nurses, to go to this retreat. And it was a 4-day event. And so prior to the retreat, I did all of the research of the places, helped with the pricing, like what prices were due, like how is this profitable, is this helpful, and then also all the meals and what is going to be included. So basically, someone comes to me and is like, oh my gosh, I want to throw a retreat. And then I'm like, all right, like what do you want that to look like? And then from there, I take over, plan the whole thing, fly in, be the person behind the scenes to make sure everything goes right. We have
I love it. It's almost like a party planner, but a retreat planner.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I love that. So you help people not only strategize for their social media and business on that aspect, but you'll also do the physical retreats for a business as a avenue of marketing.
Yes. So for businesses that are established like yours that want this, this in-person experience after people have seen you online or worked with you individually.
Awesome. Well, I love that. Maybe we'll work together in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything you want to share for our listeners as a word of encouragement for people who want to kind of think outside of the box and follow their dreams or visions?
I think that one thing that I learned very early on in the beginning is there's no magic pill, there's no magic course, there's no magic anything that can kind of help you get to where you're going except yourself, really. And I'm saying that in a way of you can invest in yourself, but as you invest in yourself, remember it's yourself that pushes you forward. And each time I hire a coach or I work with someone, or even when I meet people in person, I realize that the only difference between myself and the person that I'm talking to is the work that they've put in. And so
exactly.
you want to make sure you put in the work.
in the work. And I think my best advice for that would be also put in personal development for yourself, to work on yourself, to grow as an individual. Because not only putting in the physical work, we also want to work smarter and not only harder. We want to become the person that we need to be in order to be successful, and also gain the skills we need in order to be successful in what we're doing. So for you, if this is your career and you really want to push social media, then it'll be smart, right? For you to take classes or coaching or webinars about your industry. So that's kind of like what I always push: education, working smarter versus trying to work harder. And of course, changing our mentality to be at the right state of mind and mentality in order for us to be successful. I think those have been my key takeaways from my experience with being an entrepreneur. So now, one question I have for you too is, it all sounds fun and great, and people love listening to podcasts and other people's success stories of them living like the life that they want. But we do have to be super real for the listeners, because a lot of our listeners may be really having some fears and doubts or big challenges that they think that they would come to if they were to take the leap of faith and, let's say, start their own business or follow their dreams or change jobs and careers. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but most people want to have the fun job that they, perceive as fun and ideal for them. Now, can you share a little bit in your story? Did you come to any challenges? What were kind of like those little mind blocks or roadblocks that you had to get to a place today where you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing and I'm happy about it, I'm fine?
Yes. I would say one thing is, when I was working as a nurse, I made multiple six figures, and deciding to leave my job in 2021, making about $5,000 a month, was a huge leap and a huge risk. And it also made me think about the fact of, like, if you're wanting to go into the entrepreneurial space, is to have your finances like in check. Like, have that savings ready.
Make sure you can survive a little bit, because money doesn't start flowing in just from the beginning.
Yes.
Well, for some people it does. If you're very lucky, it can happen. But to be real, you do want to have savings of 3 to 6 months, always, in case of an emergency or in case you want to take the leap of faith.
Yes, right. And so not only having that, and I also spent 2 years paying off my debt. I had a lot of debt. So just kind of fixing yourself up financially is really huge. So when I did quit, I felt free. Like, I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, like, where is the money going to come from? Or like, oh my gosh, I have to work so hard in order to get this place. Or you get in this place where, if you're like influencer, whatever you're doing, you're taking jobs that you don't really align with because you need to make that income, instead of really focusing on the things that you love and focusing on serving the people.
Do you have any other challenges that you can share that would be encouraging for our listeners? Anything that you went through either in your head or actually with business?
I think making a shift. Like, I made multiple shifts. I'm like, multiple. I think a lot of people have, not issues, but people have a thing of like, oh my gosh, this is my niche and I need to stick to my niche. Like, if I don't stick to my niche, then what is this? And I in my first year was travel blogging. Then I did, kind of, I guess, like a consultant for those who were trying to diversify their companies. So I worked with people who were doing that. And then I was more on lifestyle. And then I finally fell in my place when I did social media management. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, now I feel like a good place. And then that lasted probably a year. And then I was like, I'm not aligning with this, of like managing this account. I rather help other people who,
empower them to do it themselves. Yes. Honestly, that's a big thing that I went through too, throughout me like owning my own business for long time now. Like physically establishing the salon and then the services, product line, all of that, I think it's close to 8 years now. But throughout that, even though I kind of stuck in the same industry, kind of like you, I did have to change and redirect quite a bit. Like I started off with just the full service salon, and I was like, some of these services are not working for me. Let me just focus on specifically just eyelash clients, because I see like more of a need and a niche market for that. So we did that. Then people started asking me, oh, can you teach me? Like, I see you're doing good. You're making so much money in this. Then I started teaching. I was like, wait, it should be a school, an academy. Then it shifted to that. Then I realized there isn't that many great lash products. People were like, oh, I love, what you have to say. Then we developed into a product line. So, and then COVID hit, we were like, oh my God, salons are closed. We can't make money doing eyelashes because salons are closed. We're just losing so much money on all the expenses. Decided to close down the salon. And then now everything, okay, no, maybe we should reopen the salon. So it is a lot of things like being an entrepreneur. And I think it's okay to kind of, and I love that you're sharing that, because I think it's a good reminder for people. Hey, if something's not going your way, don't give up and don't feel like you have to quit. Instead, sit down and see how you can redirect in order for you to, get to a place that you want to get. There's always so many different things that you can do, even in one little niche industry. And then, like I said, we do also do business coaching. So if anybody needs help with kind of strategizing just on the business side of it, I'm here to help with that. And then social media, we have you to help people. So if you guys our listeners need help with that, we are here for you. So feel free to reach out.
Like, as you were saying, I think that's when you realize that you are an entrepreneur, when you kind of see yourself growing into the new spaces. You kind of outgrow those old spaces and get the new ones, and that's how you kind of skyrocket in your business.
So let's talk about, again, challenges, because another big challenge everybody asks me is that, okay, now I kind of know what I'm doing, I'm pretty clear, but how do I make money? Where do I get the clients? So can you share some of your experiences throughout your transitions of like these things that you did in order to kind of grow into the space that you're in now? How did you gain the clientele or the accounts for you to be able to kind of survive and make money, to live your life and travel like you wanted to?
So I am a heavy believer in different streams of income, and one way that I love to kind of make that income is networking. So when I was doing one-on-ones, I still am doing one-on-ones, but when my one-on-ones were open, a lot of the clients came from referrals. So everyone was referring me, and so that networking is a huge piece. In networking, I think sometimes people think like, oh, I have to like go into this big event, but it's like literally just saying on social media what you do. Like, oh my gosh, I do this. If you know somebody who does this, right, let me know. Like, oh, I own a salon. If you find somebody that needs their eyebrows done, let them know I own it, right? Because that's how people kind of come to you. And it's in the same world. It's the same as social media. You hop on your stories and say like, oh my gosh, like, here's what I'm up to. Here's my client, like, all of this. And then you get that referral. The second thing is utilizing hashtags and utilizing the features in Instagram, right? And kind of getting those niche hashtags. So if you're somebody that does, I'm going to say eyebrows or eyelashes, you want to use those specific ones. You have a salon, you want to use local hashtags. And I think a lot of the times people think like hashtags don't work, but think about what that person is looking for. Because honestly,
what are they going to search for?
Yes, like they're going to go on TikTok or they're going to go on Instagram and they're going to search it. Like most people, if they're looking for a photographer, they're not going to go on Google and be like, photographer, San Diego. Like back in the day, yes. Nowadays, they're going to go so they can see all the different types of videos and pictures and all the stuff they can show. Another way that I get clients is to make sure that I have my email list. So my email list is my heart and soul. I love my email subscribers. I talk to them weekly about all different types of things. And that is the way that I'm able to have those conversations plus make those sales, because every single one of my emails I am selling. So then that brings me also to selling yourself. So if you're listening.
Wow. Let me pause right there, because email marketing, I feel like sometimes, it was huge back in the day, and then now it can be huge, but a lot of people and a lot of small businesses, including myself actually, we don't focus too much on email marketing. And my question to you is, for yourself, tell me a little bit more about your experience with email marketing. How do you keep, because we get so many emails, so how do you keep your emails from kind of being overlooked from all of the other emails that everybody gets? And what did you do, and how did you find that, oh my god, this email marketing is working for me?
Okay. So with email, so my email open rate's about 50%. I have a little over 1,000 subscribers on my email list. And so what I do.
And are you using any programs in order to run this, or are you doing it manually?
So I have ActiveCampaign. I have a virtual assistant, and I also schedule my emails ahead of time.
Yes.
So I have my funnel. So when someone signs up for a freebie, so for example, if someone were to buy one of your products, and then you go through and you have your funnel of different things. So what has worked for me is I have 5 emails that I send. So the first day that they order the product or they sign up for their freebie, they get 2 emails. The first one is like right after they get their product, and then the next one is about 6 hours later. And in that email, I tell them to be on the lookout for more emails from me, because I'm going to be giving them exact information about whatever they bought or whatever freebie they got. And so from there, I have about 3 emails. Then one of them talks about me, myself, and my business, and who I am and how I can help them. And then the second one goes into like the different types of offer, like specific. Like if I was selling a Instagram story vault, right, which I have, is basically talking about Instagram stories, and then I will go deeper and be like, here's 5 things that you're doing wrong with Instagram stories. And so then that gets them to kind of think like, oh, I bought this product, it's like helping with this, but I may have an issue with this. And then from there, I let them into my regular email list. And I think a lot of people with their subjects, I don't do like catchy subjects. I do more of storytelling in my emails. And I tell stories about my different clients, or I tell stories about things that have happened to me, or I talk about my different challenges. And so when someone opens my email, they don't really see it as like, oh, like she's selling to me, or like she's only emailing me with the launch. I send different types of emails, and when I launch, I let people know. I'm like very real. I'm like, hey, I'm about to start launching this. Like, you know that I'm.
And if it's the right audience, they will stick to it and stay subscribed. If it's not, then that's better. Let them not be on your list, because they're not interested in what you have to offer.
Yes, and it costs you money. So
yes,
you can go ahead and let them go.
And with email marketing too, for our listeners, you can use a lot of like programs now that you can attach to your website, and it does, and you can schedule it, and there's a lot of automation into it too. So it's not too much manual work as it used to be.
I would also suggest that if you're deciding to get into email marketing, or you're like, oh crap, I had no idea that email marketing is this big, I would literally just repurpose everything. Like, that's what I do. Like, my emails end up being blog posts, or I'll take an Instagram post and I'll literally copy my caption and then I'll send it to my email list, because there's so many different audience. Like, they're not the same audience.
Yes, and with your email marketing, because I know segmentation is also a thing, can you share a little bit with our listeners what segmentation is and how you do it for your clients?
So I segment my emails based on whatever they sign up for. So I have multiple. So I have about 5 freebies. If you're somebody that is...
what are the freebies? Tell our listeners. I'm sure they're going to want some freebies. And we'll link everything and share with everyone. But tell us. I'm curious.
So I have 10 ways to skyrocket your Instagram. I have a... Instagram story challenge that you can do. It's like a 5-day challenge, and I teach you how to kind of attract and how to get started speaking on Instagram stories. I have a hashtag freebie with about 20 different hashtags that have worked, like that still work obviously, but that really work for business owners. I have one for specifically for business owners and another one specifically for the nursing industry, since I worked in there for a while. And then I also have 48 call to action. So if you're somebody that's like, oh my gosh, I'm tired of hearing people say sign up for this, or, you know, like buy this now, then I have different call to actions that you can kind of use and utilize on your website or in your emails.
And the way they just have to pretty much sign up with the email in order to get access to these freebies from you. So it doesn't take much for people to take advantage of this valuable information from you. But then as on the business side for you, how that helps you is you get their contacts for email marketing. Since this is a business podcast, we do need to share that kind of strategy as well on both ends. So it's almost like a win-win. You get free information, and then the business gets your contact so they can share more information that might be relevant to you. So it almost sounds like too good to be true type of a business marketing trick, but it's not really a trick because it is helping everybody when you do offer like these freebies to get people's contact information.
And that's why it's also important with the segmenting is once you have them sign up for something, you want to tag them or segment, which is a list, and have them be on a specific list. So if somebody says like, oh my gosh, I bought this lipstick, and you're like, okay, I have this lipstick, so then you can kind of tag them and be like, lipstick people, right? And then whenever you come out with a new line or you have a topic which has to do with lipstick, then you can send that to that list.
Yeah, because you know they are already interested in it. So it's going to be a lot more effective compared to sending it to every single person.
Yes. And it also helps when you're launching stuff. The segmenting helps with launching so that, as Yegi said, that you know exactly who you're sending it to and you already know that they're interested in whatever product. What I will say is as you make those lists, I would do pre-emails that are ready for you to send afterwards. So like you have a list about whatever, and then you have emails in between so that people understand what it is that so you understand like, okay, like once they get this, then they can go through this segment, and then don't forget to sell yourself.
Of course. And like you said, storytelling and just being, upfront and transparent and like very clear on what you have to offer and how it could benefit them, I think is the best way to sell. You're not selling just to trick them into something. You're just being truly honest, telling them what you have to offer and how it can help them. And if they're the right fit, they're going to go ahead and sign up and give you business. I think that's I think if you are very clear, it's very effective and you don't have to worry about trying to sell. It almost sells itself.
Yes.
Going back to what you currently do with the social media strategist, now a lot of people do want to make extra money or side money online, at least in the beginning, while they're kind of testing out that online income world. So what advice do you have for those people that have been considering it but have no idea of where to start?
As far as starting on Instagram, I think in the world of social media right now, if I were to choose a platform to start on, I would actually start on TikTok.
And why is that?
The reason I say that
TikTok paying you to say this?
No, I wish TikTok was paying me.
I know, I'm joking. Right. Hey, maybe they will very soon. TikTok.
Right. TikTok, hear me out.
Are you listening?
Right. No, because the reach on TikTok, so Instagram is going through the blues. I like to say
an identity crisis, like a lot of people nowadays.
Yes, because they're trying to keep up with YouTube. They're trying to keep up with TikTok. So they see how valuable video is. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, how do I get in the know? But TikTok is kind of in the place of like, oh, like if you keep on consistently posting and you're posting about something that is very niche specific, then I'm going to let you be seen by as many people. And I'm going to favor your page. So it kind of reminds me a little bit like I had thought about starting YouTube, but I helped with a friend's YouTube. And it kind of reminds me of YouTube, how you have to consistently like create that video content. And then from there, they're like, oh, let's favor you. Like this person keeps on putting on our platform. So that is one thing that I would say, is to choose one platform. But if I were starting over, I would choose TikTok. And then
you're just starting out to put your focus on there because it's newer and it's easier with the current algorithm, it's easier to get noticed.
Yes,
that's
for sure.
Awesome.
And then the second thing that I would say is to create very be very goal oriented and when I mean goal oriented, I don't only mean like, oh my gosh, I'm going to work myself to the bone, but making all of the physical, mental, all the things, because I think what thing that we're kind of realizing with the online world is there's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of like, okay, well, this person's getting more viewership with the same type of thing that I'm doing and all of that. And when you work on yourself, you just worry about yourself. Like, you're just like, I'm gonna get to where I'm going because I done put my goals on this paper and that's where I'm headed.
Yes, and that's the advice I give everybody. And I have to remind myself too, it's like, stop worrying about what everybody's doing. Just have your to-do list daily, go in or open your computer and just do one thing at a time and just focus on that. And be very clear with where you want to go with your goals. Don't just say, I want to be successful or I want to make $1 million and that's it. But what are the exact action steps that you can take today in order to get there, right?
And just kind of having taking yourself seriously. It might sound kind of dumb, but taking yourself seriously, because I think I have clients that
have a talk with yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, girl, listen up. You got this. This is what you have to do.
Yes, because then I think sometimes people have their business and then they say like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then a friend invites them to go somewhere. And the next thing you know, they're not doing what they need to do for your business. But you're
right. I've been guilty of that in the past, but I did really have to, look at myself in the mirror a lot of times to remind myself, look, you do want that balanced life, but how well are you balancing it? Are you giving a little bit too much to your personal life? And vice versa. So you're right. We do. And one way I was able to accomplish that in the beginning, was really block out my time, even though I didn't really have to physically be anywhere and do anything. So if I really wanted to spend, let's say, 2 hours on email marketing, for example, I didn't really have to do it from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on a Monday. But if I scheduled it in exactly on Mondays, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I wasn't going to take anybody else's appointments or anybody else's, like my friend's request to grab breakfast, because I was already booked and scheduled. So that's kind of how I blocked out and protected my time to make sure that I take myself seriously. So I do love that you brought that up, especially when you work for yourself and no one else is there to hold you accountable. It is very easy to get distracted and not do everything that you should be doing in order to be successful. And I think the best advice and best trick that I found was to physically block my calendar for myself and hold myself accountable.
Yes, I think one thing, I also block my calendar. And another thing that I like to do is I have 2 big things that I want to get done today and 3 small things. And my small things...
Oh, I love that.
My small things can literally be like making myself breakfast. And it's because I know I'm going to do it. So then I'm like, okay, check. Because it gives you that kind of boost of like, I'm getting stuff done today.
It is.
Check that off. So that is one thing I also like to do. And I have to block mine off too, because I'm the same, sis. I'd be like, wait, we're going to get cocktails.
Yeah. No, it honestly is a thing. Whatever you said too about like the 3 little things and 2 big things, that's time management or like a to-do list, I guess must, in order for it to to happen. So as humans, just from my research and what I've learned in the past too, if we do kind of give ourselves that happy feeling, we're more likely to do it again. So then once we put some easy things on our to-do list to cross it off easily, it's almost an easy win and an encouragement for us to keep going to do the bigger things. So, and also not putting too many things on your to-do list for that one day in order for you to not get overwhelmed and shut down. Because that's a lot of times what happens with us too, is when we have too many things on our to-do list, we shut down because we're like, oh, this is too much, I can't handle it. But when we only look at one or two things, main things a day, that's when we could really focus and be like, okay, well, this is doable. Let me do it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we covered so much and I'm so excited and I can keep talking for hours with you. But our time has come. So I do want to wrap up and see, is there any last words of encouragement for you, for our listeners, and also where they can find you and everything you have to offer with your businesses?
So last words of encouragement is to really take time, as I think one thing that I'm going to take away from this conversation too is to kind of take that time to journal and do that inner work, and so that you can get in that place of worrying about yourself. So you can find me online at www.attaliahstrubel.com, and also on Instagram, Attaliah Strubel. And then if you want to know about my personal life, I have my TikTok, the Strubel family of my husband and I and our life abroad. And then
I love that.
Thank you.
Actually, before we do close, I do have a question with that, because I personally have always had this inner battle of how much personal stuff do you share? You know, I'm very active with business posts, personal posts. I go on and off depending on how busy I am with everything else. But you know, it's fun to share even personal, and then sometimes like, is that too much to share? So and you said your personal stuff is more on TikTok versus your business is more on Instagram. So, can you just a little bit share with our listeners how, you strategize for that?
Yeah, so actually I do talk about personal stuff on Instagram, and I kind of do it as my pillars. And so every now and again, I'll talk about my husband and I and like personal stuff in our life. Recently.
And is this all on that same page where you run your business account?
Yes, it's all on the same page because
I love that, honestly.
Yeah, I believe in like personal brand. So like I'm my brand and I want people to get to know me on a different level. And so I put it all on the same page. But as we are starting, like when we moved here, people wanted to know more about just living in Germany. And I was like, I'm not going to put this on my business page, but I'll like put it here and there. But if you could go to TikTok, then I'll tell you like the behind the scenes. So my TikTok is like the behind the scenes of life. And I think the way that you kind of decide, if you have no pressure to share, right? There's no pressure for you to share things. Recently, we shared that we are starting IVF, and
congratulations. That's a big, challenging decision to make.
Yes, it is a huge, challenging decision. And for the last 4 years, we have struggled with infertility, and I hadn't talked about it at all on social media. And even people would ask me, like,
it's
tough.
What
are you having? Yes. And so I just never talked about it. And that was because I only share things on social media that I feel comfortable talking more about. So if I feel like, this is just one day that I'm feeling like this way, I sleep on it and I'm like, let me think about it tomorrow.
That's good advice.
Am I going to do it? And then I also only share if it has a purpose. It might sound weird, but if it has a purpose,
love that.
Because I share my fertility journey because of the fact that it is helping other women and it has a purpose. And I'm not just willy-nilly like being like, this is what I struggle with. But I think also it's because I'm an Aries and I'm not a vulnerable like person. Like I become very like when it's time to be vulnerable. So that is like kind of my thing in my head, is only sharing things that you feel have a purpose, one, and two, sleeping on it before you decide to share something. And I even think about that in your Instagram stories. If you're feeling it, you can you can record the story and then save it, and then tomorrow if you feel the same, put it online. But once
that's
something's
really
online,
good
you can't take
advice.
it
So
off.
then you're thinking about it before, just publicly putting information out there, especially at times of like major emotions like anger, sadness, overexcitement. So I think that's really good advice for navigating through social media for personal, even business. Actually, I think
Yes.
it's good to kind of put that pause button before you announce or share. First, I want to acknowledge your challenge too, and I'm sorry that you went through that, but huge props to you to be able to talk about it now. I know pregnancy issues could be so challenging and very emotional, but making that decision to move forward with the IVF option is huge. So congratulations on that. Best of luck to you. And there's so many women that struggle with similar issues, and like you said, it's so nice for them to know people that they can talk to about or have a community to talk to about it. So I think like you said, the purpose of sharing personal life is not only to just share or try to get popular or have people feel sorry for you. I think it's just overall to have a community, right? And so we can all help and support each other and have the right people around us. But also sometimes it's okay for the purpose for it to be that, hey, I just want to vent and you guys are my people. I'm going to vent to you. So if that's your purpose and you have that supportive community on there, I think that's great. And if anytime, social media is a tricky thing. Some people don't have good community and good support, and it's not as positive when they share things. And if you do find that that's happening, my best advice for you would be really cut those people off of your social media. If it's blocking them, getting rid of them, don't reply to the negative comments, just ignore and try to get them away from you, because it can be a very good positive space, but it can also be dangerous to be a negative space. But if you want to attract the positive side of it, you can focus on building the community of those people. You don't have to worry about the people who are going to judge you for sharing your personal stuff, and I think that's my current take on that.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, now we can officially close. I cut you off again because I had another question. I just do that. I'm a very curious person. I just love to ask questions. But yes, your last words of encouragement and where the people can find you.
How you can work with me now is I do have one-on-one spots opening for November, and then I have a program called The Profitable Creator, which is a 6-month mentorship to help people go from personal brand to full-time business. And so I give you all of the resources to create multiple streams of income, and I go through the exact steps. We are no gatekeeping here to what I've done in order to grow my business.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that. We will link all your information below and spread the word. It was so nice to speak with you, and you shared so much valuable knowledge for our listeners. All my best to you in your personal and business life, and I hope that we cross paths again very soon.
Okay, thank you, Yegi.
Thank you for listening. Please rate and review this podcast. Follow and engage with us on social media under the Yegi Project. And if you're interested in being a guest, email info@theyegiproject.com, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.